In this video we're going to look at how we find sets of equivalent fractions. Then we're going to use this to answer some worked examples. Fractions of the same amount can be written in different ways, and because the amount is the same we call them equivalent fractions. So for example we have a half, which is the same as 2/4, which is the same as 3/6, which is the same as 4/8. All written differently, but you can see it's the same amount. To generate a set of equivalent fractions, all we need to do is multiply or divide the numerator and the denominator by the same amount. And it's important that it is the same amount. So here is an example. If we multiply the numerator by 2, we'll get 2, and then we multiply the denominator by the same amount, and we get 2/6, 2/6, which is the same as 1/3. And we can keep going with this. If we take our 2/6 and we multiply by 3, for example, we'll get 6 on the top. We multiply the bottom by the same amount, and we get 18 on the bottom, and 6/18 is the same as 1/3. Now here's an example of finding equivalent fractions by dividing, and this is used to simplify a fraction. So here we have 6/12, and what we can do, if we divide the top and the bottom by the same amount, we'll get an equivalent fraction. So what we're looking for is a number that divides into both the numerator and the denominator, or a common factor of both of them. And I know that 2 is a common factor of 6 and 12. So if we divide the top and the bottom by 2, then we get 3/6, which is the same as 6/12. And if we look at this, we can see that we can simplify this further, because 3 is a common factor of 3 and 6. And so if we divide top and bottom by 3, we get 1/2, or a half. Now you might have spotted we could have done this in one step if we'd done 6/12 and divided the numerator and denominator by 6. That's the highest common factor. That will take us to a half in one step. For our first example, we're going to try and find which of the following fractions is equivalent to 2/3. To answer this one, we'll first write down our original fraction of 2/3. Now, they all have the denominator of 9. So, if we're trying to find the equivalent fraction, we write down the denominator and we look what we need to multiply our 3 by to get 9. And it's being multiplied by 3. And we know to find an equivalent fraction, we multiply the denominator and the numerator by the same amount. So if we multiply the top by 3, we get 6. So our equivalent fraction is 6/9, and so answer C is correct. In this example we're going to simplify our fraction. We're going to write the fraction 12/16 in its simplest form. So we'll start by writing out our original fraction. And now we're looking for common factors. And, well, a common factor of the top and bottom is 2, but the highest common factor is 4, because 4 divides evenly into 12 and 16. So we're going to divide the top and bottom by 4 to give us our simplified fraction. So 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. So 3/4 is our fraction in its simplified form. One last way of visualising equivalent fractions is on a fraction wall. So here we can see that half, for instance, is equivalent to 2 quarters, which is equivalent to 4/8. And we can see that a third is equivalent to 2/6, which is equivalent to 3/9, and 4/12.